Hey everybody, welcome back. For those of you who appreciate this content, please be sure to like and subscribe, and by all means leave comments. Be happy to hear from people, and I look forward to reading your comments. So today I wanted to talk a little bit on the exterior. My life, and for those of you who don't know, but I'm sure most of you who tune in regularly realize I'm a man who's going to be 61 years old this year, or entering my, I guess, 62nd year. By the looks of it, or on the exterior, I've lived a pretty ordinary life, but in many ways I have not, and I'm sure many of you out there can share a similar experience, or your own set of experiences, but kind of relate, I guess, you can relate to what I'm talking about. So it took me forever to graduate out of college, not because I'm intellectually challenged or have any kind of learning disability or anything like that. It's just I worked sometimes full-time, actually most of it full-time through my college years, and I didn't really want to go to college anyway, so it was a real struggle to find something to graduate in. And I did graduate, but my GPA was nothing to write home about. I think it was like a 2.7 or something like that. I really barely tried. That's why it's so hard to get on my son when he puts in so little effort, because honestly, I kind of feel that. But I did graduate. I've had long-term relationships. I've talked about my romantic life plenty of times. There's more to be explored there, but to be honest with you, I don't really want this video to be about that. I'd rather talk about just some simple things that really, I haven't really had TV in my house since the early 2000s. Now, I know a lot of people out there today have cut the cord and, not had cable, or done away with cable TV and so on, or landlines. For me, even before there were streaming services, and even before there was Redbox, and remember when even Blockbuster would send you, they had a mail-in service. Some of you remember that. Even before all of that, I really, I want to say the last I had a TV in my house and had cable hooked up to it was maybe 2003, and that was just for a short time. But before that, I had cable sporadically on and off. But honestly, have not, it's not that I wouldn't catch a game or something, or if I was at a restaurant or a bar, but I'm not a big TV person. Certainly have not kept up with a lot of celebrities. Like, I'm barely familiar with celebrities from like the early 2000s, let alone, some of these so-called celebrities today. I see some of this stuff will come through the feed. Like I, of course, consume YouTube content. And so I see stuff on these feeds, but I don't go to the movies. I haven't been to the movies in years. And by years, decades. I rarely watch movies. When I do watch movies, it's movies usually from the 60s, 70s, 80s, sometimes the 90s. But even then, I'm kind of, by then movies had already started to change. They actually started, people talk about the indoctrination and the messaging and the propaganda in movies today. It really started kind of in the 90s. It was a lot more subtle, and you have to look harder for it. But the messaging was there. You just have to notice. You have to be a noticer. You all know what I mean. If you know, you know. But to be honest with you, even local news people. One of the channels I follow on YouTube is Tim Kelly, who was a weatherman up in New England. And I remember him from the early weather days. He would be on cable news and stuff. And so I do remember that. And he seems like a decent enough guy. And, his little adventures, New England adventures, kind of appreciate all that. But like locally where I live now in the South, I couldn't tell you who the news people are. If I tripped over one, I wouldn't know. I don't follow the local news, which is kind of problematic sometimes. I hear about it secondhand from folks, but I don't follow what's going on at the legislature. I don't follow what's going on with the governor. I don't follow what's going on with the local politicians, and I probably should. But to be honest with you, so while a lot of it does impact our lives in terms of, these policies, the things that people say and do impact our lives, we can insulate ourselves so much from the nefarious effects of these policies. And, there are things you can do to kind of mitigate all that and keep it out of your life. And I tend to do that. I tend to do that to the best of my ability and have my entire life. I don't really want to get drawn into people's drama, and that's what a lot of it is. The drama and the politics and even in terms of, this is one of the things, religion-wise. I'm Christian and have been Christian my whole life. Most of it has been Roman Catholic. The fact of the matter is that, anytime I start going to church, and I attend church regularly or try to, they try to suck you into, and I understand that some of it is community, and I've experienced this too in the evangelical, in evangelical churches. They try to suck you into like this idea, well, it's a community, and it's like, it almost feels superimposed. It doesn't feel like, yeah, I get it. We're one family in Christ, but it's like, I don't really want to have dinner with a bunch of people I don't barely know. And, sometimes you have to be guarded in what you say and what you do. And, to me, that's not like on my own time. I just want it to be my own time. I don't want the falseness that you have to put on as your public persona. I don't want that to follow me home. I don't want that artifice. You know what I mean? Like there's that public me, which is, to be honest with you, increasingly, I've always kind of been, the public persona is very close to the private persona. Not completely, but I don't do a good job of putting on airs. I'm not what I guess most people would consider a phony. I'm pretty much a genuine person, or try to be anyway. I don't want that artifice or that kind of public persona to follow me home. I just want to be myself. I want to be relaxed. Because I feel it took me many years to get comfortable in my own skin. And I just want to be comfortable at home in my own skin. I don't want to be a person that I'm not. And I certainly don't want to spend a bunch of time with folks putting on airs. So it's hard. It's always been hard for me to kind of have any kind of real friend group, because you really can't be yourself with people around, I find, very rarely, even sometimes with your own family members. You have to be guarded, and I don't want to be guarded, so I guess that's why I like to spend a lot of time alone, and why I don't really pursue romantic relationships. I get offers from women, younger women in their 20s all the way to women who are older than me. In their, late 60s and early 70s. And to be honest with you, I'm not interested in pursuing relationships with any of them, because that's when you have to, I guess now it devolved into the romantic. You have to put on airs, right? That's what that whole, even if it's casual dating without the courtship part, you have to put on airs. You have to pretend you're somebody you're not. You have to kind of be guarded with your feelings, guarded with what you say, guarded with, I don't want that. I don't want any of those pretexts. I don't want any of that phoniness. I don't want any of that near me or in my life at this point. That's why, honestly, I'm perfectly happy being home alone. And oftentimes avoid going to the grocery store just because I don't really want to see anybody. Sometimes my cupboards are literally bare. I'm eating whatever I can put together in my cupboards, salad dressing sandwiches, just to avoid going to the store. So at any rate, I just wanted to say that. I appreciate everyone's time and tuning in. Again, if you wouldn't mind, please like and subscribe. Consider leaving a comment. I sincerely appreciate all the help that folks have given on the channel. And I thank you, and we'll see you down the road.